Hi, welcome back to Digit.in. My name is Vignesh, and today we've got here with us a ThinkPad that can do all sorts of tricks. It can do yoga. Now, last year's model as well could do all of this, but this year's comes with a new range of Intel CPUs and 16 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of SSD-based storage. Now, this thing is a really good laptop and a tablet. It can do a lot of things, but let's see how much I liked it in this review. Starting with the build and design, the body of the ThinkPad X1 Yoga is made of a hybrid carbon fiber material. It feels durable and looks premium. The ThinkPad logo has now turned black in color, making the branding look even subtler than before. The dual display hinges are made of an alloy and are designed to make the device do yoga positions like the ones you're seeing in this video. A thick glossy black bezel runs around the display, featuring a nearly invisible Lenovo branding. The material around the keyboard seems to be made of a soft plastic that matches the rest of the body in color and texture. Save for a few grills at the bottom for heat and speaker housing, the base is bare. Longtime users of the ThinkPad will notice the absence of the docking port at the bottom. In terms of dimensions and overall design, the third generation ThinkPad X1 Yoga is a blatant facsimile of the second generation model. And that's not always a bad thing, given that the second generation model was both clever and reliable in design to begin with. You'd be hard-pressed to tell the difference between last year's model and this year's model unless you studied the differences carefully. Apart from subtler branding, the surface around the keyboard and the touchpad no longer has those 4 tiny rubber nubs for protecting the inner side of the display. The dimensions of the laptop remain the same as the previous model. The fingerprint sensor that sits below the keyboard now does an in-sensor matching so that the OS doesn't get its hands on all your fingerprints. In my experience, I thought the fingerprint sensor was generally a little slow to react. There is one important difference in this third gen model though. It introduces the Think Shutter, a physical slider for covering the web camera manually. I think it's a nifty feature because none of us can ever really be completely sure of our privacy when an open camera is around us. Unlike last year's model, which included an OLED option, this year's ThinkPad X1 Yoga returns to offering only LCD options. So that means this unit here gets a 14-inch WQHD resolution touchscreen IPS panel. It doesn't have Dolby Vision, which brings you HDR and 500 nits of brightness, but this one's good nonetheless. Trust me on that. This display is glossy and reflective, but isn't all that big a distraction even when there are other overpowering lights around you. Text is readable even when the display is pushed all the way down, and sticking to the yoga promise, the display folds all the way back to meet the base. The touchscreen display responds well to even the slightest of touches. This model includes an automatic brightness feature, which I found was a bit too erratic for my taste. I mean, it would just keep changing the brightness every few seconds, and that made reading an absolute pain for me. Audio output from the ThinkPad X1 Yoga speakers is loud and clear when it's placed inside a small room, let's say of 15x15 size. But understandably though, it lacks bass. Buyers of this model should be entitled to a month's trial of Dolby Atmos. And on USB headphones, they're great. You can really tell that the virtual surround effects are right there, but on earphones, not so much. Ports on the left and right sides of the ThinkPad X1 Yoga remain the same as last year's, except for the removal of a full-size USB port from the left-hand side of the laptop. Now, why Lenovo would remove a full-size USB port for no reason, I don't know, because the thickness of the laptop remains the same. The dimensions are otherwise just the same. We still get one full-size USB port and 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports on the left, although one of them gets eaten up for powering the device. And on the right side, we have a full-size HDMI port, a display port, a single 3.5mm audio jack for headsets, a Kensington lock port, and another full-size USB port. The touchpad on this ThinkPad X1 Yoga is a precision unit, and that means it works without needing any third-party drivers to modify settings and things like that. Now, there are 2 click buttons under the touchpad, and there are 3 physical buttons just on top of the touchpad. Now, they're soft and they feel fine to use. The pen included with the ThinkPad, I'm sure, would have been great had it actually worked. I mean, that's right, the Stylus Pen simply refused to work on this device despite several attempts to get it going. I mean, I tried a lot of things. I tried installing drivers, I tried getting the pen to charge, but nothing ever seemed to work. However, I'm told that a working pen actually has 2048 levels of pressure sensitivity and charges within the silo that it sits inside. It's such a shame though I couldn't test this on the ThinkPad, because I would have had a chance to see how it compares with the likes of, let's say, the Surface Pro. Performance on the ThinkPad X1 Yoga was remarkably good. It seemed to be always on its toes. Everyday applications like Chrome, iTunes, and Word seemed to launch one after the other right after a cold boot without any lag at all, without any delays. Subsequent launches were naturally faster still. Switching between 12 open applications across two different virtual desktops showed zero signs of lag on this thing. Chrome handled over 30 open tabs at the same time without feeling the need to refresh any of the pages. Perfectly fine. Toggling through all the open tabs was also a smooth affair. The device switched to tablet mode accurately when folded with no pauses or stutters. Despite an average CPU temperature reading of 65 degrees Celsius, heat is generally manageable on this ThinkPad. But there are times when the rise in temperature becomes very apparent, especially during application installations. And it's all felt exactly in one spot of the laptop. It's bang in the middle of the laptop's rear end. Now, what about the battery life on this ThinkPad? Well, Lenovo claims on their website that the ThinkPad can deliver up to 15 hours on a single charge, but in real-world usage, it lasts somewhere between 6 and 7 hours when the display brightness is set to about 65%. The Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are left on, and somewhere close to 6 applications are running simultaneously. Of course, one of them was a browser playing video in the background all the time. In my opinion, that's still a bit low even by ThinkPad standards. I mean, I know it's a slim yoga model and everything, but still. So the ThinkPad X1 Yoga has great build, it has an excellent keyboard, it has a nice display, and the battery lasts between 6 and 7 hours. You should definitely get this laptop if you're looking for a business machine that can just convert into a tablet and comes with a pen as well. But if you're looking for gaming, then you should look elsewhere. So consider this if you're going to buy, say, something like the Microsoft Surface Pro or even a Mac, because trust me, it is that good. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Do not forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, hit the like button below. Now, I heard someone actually slept off in my recent video. I'm sorry for you. Get some coffee, sir. See you in the next video. Bye.